There were so many things that confused me when I started photography, and aperture and f-stops just hurt my brain. The number gets bigger, but the aperture gets smaller. Surely that's backwards. And do you know what? Turns out it is backwards. So in this video, we're going to take a proper deep dive into aperture in a way that almost nobody explains it. We're going to flip F numbers on their head. We're going to ditch convention and we're going to look at aperture and F numbers in a simple, logical, and easy to understand way. To put it simply, the aperture is an adjustable circular opening that sits inside your lens. It's the size of this opening that controls how much light can enter your camera, and the aperture is adjustable. And when that opening is at its widest, it allows the maximum amount of light through. And when it's at its narrowest, it lets through the minimum amount of light. Photographers usually call these two states wide open or stop down. And when you change between them, you're either opening up the aperture to let in more light, or you are closing down the aperture to reduce the light. And we control this function of aperture by adjusting a scale called f-stops. F-stops are a scale that measure how much light is being stopped by the aperture. That's why they're called f-stops. The F number tells us how much light we're stopping. So it's easy to understand why f16 stops more light than f5.6. The number is larger, so the stopping power is greater. The more light we stop coming into our cameras, the darker our exposure becomes. So what do we do if our image is too dark? Well, if your exposure is too dark at, let's say, f16, we just need to reduce the stopping power by lowering the F number. F11 is smaller than F16, so it opens the aperture wider by reducing the stopping power and letting in more light. Drop to F8 and then 5.6. And each step reduces the stopping power further, which allows more light in as the aperture becomes wider. And if there's too much light and our image is too bright, we simply work in reverse, stopping more light by increasing the F number. So the F numbers relate to stopping power, and that's how aperture and f-stops affect exposure. But we also need to consider another impact this process has on our photographs. It's natural to think of focus as being where we aim our camera and place our focus points. But in reality, focus points just set the starting point for focus. The amount of focus we get through a scene, how much appears sharp, is actually heavily influenced by our aperture. Photographers call this depth of field. Our F numbers relate to the stopping power of the aperture. The bigger the number, the more light we stop. The smaller the number, the less light we stop. But F numbers also control how much depth of field we get. A bigger F number gives us more depth of field, more focus across the scene. A small F number gives less. And this reflects a trade-off that we have to balance throughout the exposure triangle. For everything we gain, we give something away. To take more focus, we need a larger F number, let's say f16. But as we've already learned, f16 stops more light. So we gain focus, but we give away light. And the opposite is also true. We want a brighter image, so we take more light, dialing in an aperture like f5.6. But by taking this extra light, we have to give away some focus. So less of the scene is sharp. So our F number decisions aren't just made for exposure. they're also about artistic intent. In a portrait, we often want to blur the background. We place the focus point on the subject and we use a low F number. This gives us lots of light, but it reduces the depth of field. But for the portrait, this is a good thing. It's purposeful and it's intentional. It will help us to isolate the subject and remove distractions behind them by reducing our focus only onto the subject. But in a landscape, we usually want sharpness throughout the entire scene. Photographing across large expanses, we don't want areas of blur. So for a landscape, we use a higher F number. This makes the image darker, but it takes the maximum amount of focus by increasing the depth of field to keep the whole scene sharp. So now you might be wondering, how do you get the focus you want whilst also getting the right exposure? Well, that's the next video along, where we're going to cover the next part of the exposure triangle, shutter speed. You can watch that by clicking the video on screen here. And don't forget to hit the notification bell as well. I've been Dave for Let's Click Photography.